Days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.
Woo! That voice, that is Vanta Black. I don't know what Vanta Black is, but we're about to find out. Roderick Morrow is here. Let me welcome the great, the wondrous Lalah Hathaway.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Taking that lower register and then bringing it on up. Girl, what you doing? What you doing?
Out on the road. Out on the road.
I love it. New music. So what is Vanta Black? Who is Vanta? And when did she turn black?
Vanta Black is a word that signifies the blackest black, which is where I find myself in this inflection point in history. So the word is actually meant to represent like how I feel, who I am, how I'm representing. And I was always black. Clearly, I was always black, mostly black.
Were you? Because do you remember when you turned black? Because that's a thing now, apparently.
You know, it is a thing to have turned black, huh?
Yes.
I was just always a black girl. You know, when it became African American, I still felt like a black girl. I feel like an African American girl, but I'm really like a black girl. And in the last 10 years, kind of watching the news and looking at the world and living, you know, on my block and in my community and a lot in my head, I really feel like a black girl. And so just the joy of that inspired the record.
I love having a Google search and then, yes, a class of super black coatings. Yes, total hemispherical reflectances.
Yeah.
Yes. 1%. Oh, yeah. Yes.
It's wild. I'm still learning so much about blackness.
Yeah.
Late in life. I didn't know there was a level of blackness beyond the black that I knew. Now I got a new thing to aspire to. I want to be Vanta Black too.
There you go. You want everything Vanta Black. There you go.
Let's go.
So you're in Houston. You're gonna be at the Arena Theater and around tomorrow night, singing and whistling with your thoke and doing all of the beautiful things that you do. Oh my goodness! To watch you perform is incredible. Like, and you seem to have so much joy. Like, to live in your gift is not a chore.
I do. I really love what I do. I love music. I'm obsessed with sound and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm in the right place at the right time.
All right. So if somebody tried to use your music without your permission, no, cease and desist immediately, right?
Cease and desist. It's hard. Specifically, you know, for some of the older acts, like, you know, I got to shout out Isaac Hayes Jr. for taking it there. Because I hear my dad all the time, and it's almost hard to quantify where I hear it and it takes so much to just go and tell somebody, even with my vocals, you know, I had to sue someone a couple of years ago. You can't do that. And I've never seen someone who so many people say, we don't even want you associated with our music at all. But in that case, I would do the same.
I know that's true. And the great Donny Hathaway, that voice, you know, sometimes it doesn't transfer from generation to generation, but it did in your case. Lalah Hathaway is here. You have a bunch of music with different people. You got a song with Common, MC Lyte. What was the genesis of putting this particular album together?
You know, during the quarantine, the first couple of weeks of the quarantine, which I was convinced would last maybe 3 to 6 weeks, we would have time off, right? I just started reaching out to people and trying to work, because it was really the first moment that I had since probably the 90s that I wasn't working, literally.
Wow.
And so the quarantine for me was kind of a sit down in the quiet, you know, no traffic. The air was clear in Los Angeles for a minute. It was a real time of restoration and really a lot of time to think and sit down and read and watch the news and all of that. And so this record comes out of kind of that experience.
What
That's
is
amazing.
What has touring been like coming off of the pandemic? And because and also, like, I feel like every day we look up and we see like this artist is canceling their tour, this this thing isn't happening anymore. Like, has touring changed? And like, what do you think is the the thing?
I think touring has changed a little bit, but what I think has not changed is people's need for live art and music. And so if that's really what your path is, I'm going to always do that. I've declared I'm just always going to be able to do that until I'm gone. For me, it's important to get out and take the music that people love to them directly, for that feedback, because they are then a part of that music as well. I don't know how people are faring. I don't know how this sort of newish generation of artists, are they going to be touring into their 60s and 70s and taking the live music into their 60s and 70s?
No,
Maybe,
they will not.
maybe a lot of them will. Will Booty Hole Brown make it to?
No.
Maybe. I don't know. But there are
No.
so many ways for art to come forth. I just happen to be a person that's alive. I love live performance. And so touring for me, it's not an option not to do that.
I actually think we're entering, throughout time, history, we have ebbs and flows. We have these retractions, these repressions, and then we go all in. You'll have free love followed by Reaganomics, followed by, like it's always that, bell bottoms are back. I think we are coming off of the last 10 years, not just the pandemic, but this divisive, nasty, vitriolic hatred filled, the thing that Kamala Harris talked about last night. People want to be uplifted and they want to be in real community around real things, real people who can really sing and who really have art. And that's you.
I appreciate that. I mean, I'm reticent to say, even saying about Booty Hole Brown, there is an audience for that. And sometimes I feel ratchet and maybe I want to hear that. I'm saying that for me personally, I don't begrudge anybody's way that they get down. It's important to let people express themselves. And in my mind, to a degree, it's all what and what. It's all art. I just happen to be a person that has a different ethos in terms of what music is to me and how I express it. But I would never begrudge somebody figuring out that, that's going to get you the Lamborghini, that's going to get you the house. However, whatever you are doing over there, I'm good.
I think it's interesting too, because like I was watching the Tyler the Creator interview and he was saying like now Tyler the Creator's gotten old, right? Like I remember when he was like the young up and coming, like everybody was like, this guy right here, what is he doing?
32, you mean old?
Right. He's old in rap. You know what I mean? Like by old, by meaning he has a double-digit career now in hip hop, which is something you don't see as that often anymore, right? And so now he has a different perspective. He's like, man, I was kind of hard on Eminem when I was coming into the game, and and picking on Jay-Z and calling them old. Now, what they supposed to retire at 30? Like, no, they want to make music, but he's talking also about like musicality, knowing instruments, seeing the art as an art and not just a hustle to try to like get that Lamborghini, as you're saying.
Right.
And I think we're living in an attention economy right now. So it's like artists feel a pressure to be like, you can be big on Instagram and try to work that into like a tour, as opposed to like, I came up through musicality, through church and all that stuff. Do you ever feel the pressure as an artist to have to be, like online, or like, I got to figure out something with Instagram. I got to figure out something with TikTok. Everybody doing TikTok now. I got to do TikTok. Do you ever feel those pressures?
Pressure? No. There's a big piece of me that likes to participate in that. And I had a website in 96, 97 called a Pink Room that was that before that was that. So I am a techie and really into the whole social media ness of it. It has super fallen by the wayside. Twitter used to be like a fun community to participate in. That no longer exists, really. That is the island of misfit toys. Instagram is interesting, kind of curated art. Fan base is cool. TikTok is probably my most fun because it just, thing after thing after thing. I can get wigs and face care and learn how to dance and all kind of stuff. So for me, it's fun. What I hate is that for people coming up now, that instead of learning how to create art, they are learning how to feed the algorithm. And so I think that that part is detrimental to art in our society. So in that way, yeah, I'm trying to think of ways to expose my music to all the people. It's really the only reason I'm still on Facebook, right? But I really am more interested in making art that I think people would like.
I'm appalled by how many people don't know artists that were impactful like in the 80s and 90s, because we have the ability to curate everything, which means, you know, coming up, we had to listen to everything. I remember the summer I was, Yolanda Adams has a new song out, which I'm gonna play later. But I remember the summer that Alicia Myers, I Want to Thank You came out, and it was dun, dun, dun. Every time you heard that beat, dun, dun, I was like, for like the entire summer, it was like on rotation everywhere. And it was crazy that we had to sit with these songs probably for a year, you know, 6 months to a year, to the point that we really got to know the artist. And it was always multi-generations because we didn't have earbuds that we can just stick in and tune everybody out.
Right.
Yeah,
And we had 5 places to get music from in any given city. You know, I grew up in Chicago, so I was listening to BMX or GCI or WVON, or I was watching one of 4 or 5 television stations. So right now, it's hard to even know. Like, I DJ, and it's like, how do I keep up with what's hot? It's coming at me from so many directions.
Yes.
You know, there are so many. There's more, which makes it less. It's
yes.
crazy.
Yeah, because once again, it's the algorithm. Like when I go on my Spotify, it tries to feed me something that I'm already kind of listening to anyway. And then like, here's 1 degree off of what you were listening to. Whereas, you know, back in the day, even though it was gate kept and all that stuff, if you're listening to the radio and they throw something on, everybody in the city that's got the radio on is hearing this new thing. And it's like, well, I never heard nothing like Outkast before. Right. And so it catches on in a way where you're able to. Now I feel like we individually are on radio. So like I could be jamming out to somebody y'all ain't never heard of and will never hear of, because you're listening to something different. And we kind of lost that, like the social currency and togetherness of that experience.
The beauty of it is that everybody is off on their own thing. Like, I listen to a lot of artists that people will never hear of, and they have the chance to have a platform for me to hear it on. But I also feel like a lot of these listening platforms, a lot of the DSPs are giving you an algorithm, which is not necessarily, like, if you look at my Spotify and it says, if you like this artist, you'll like these artists. And they're all great artists, but none of them are artists really that I've worked with. They don't include Robert Glasper or Donny Hathaway or Terrace Martin or Kendrick Lamar.
They don't include Donny Hathaway.
No, it's
wow. Dude, that's so stupid. What? Okay, so what's in your rotation as a DJ? What songs are you? Give us a boom, boom, boom. Your 1, 2, 3. Your go-tos that will get the party started.
I mean, it's been a minute. I'm DJing a lot of old stuff. I'm like Atlantic Star, SOS Band.
Okay.
I'm also DJing like K Tronada and SZA and Ant-Man Wonder and Cat Pack and Hiatus Coyote. You know, it's it's like me, a little bit in the past and a little bit in the future. So, yeah, I'm all over the place.
With you being, you know, a self-identified tech head, do you ever feel like do you ever think about making music that does kind of gear towards the algorithm? Like, for example, everybody was making the 2-minute songs like the last couple of years because you get more streams, and the streams are what you get paid by. So if I put out an album and it's got 30 tracks, but it's still the same 60-minute album, but it's just got 32-minute songs. Did you ever think about that?
No, I thought about it once I learned about it. Like, wow, this is how people are getting over. Like, they're trying to actually cheat the system into a career. Or when I see all these, like the cell phone farms where people have where they're streaming over and over and over again. Streaming that's a hard one. Because for the last 3-4 years, I've been asking people, stream the record, leave it on for your dog when you go outside, leave it on at the barbecue. But really what I'm asking people to do at this point is to buy my album, because I'm an artist and I make a full album for your consumption.
Yes.
One stream is equal to like a fraction of a penny. And music is so devalued. It is really shameful. In my mind, and I know I'm the crazy music lady, but it's like one of the most important things a society has.
Yes.
Specifically children of color. Black kids in this country need to understand their lineage. They need to understand their music. They need to understand, or at least respect, the music that came out of the fields.
Yes.
Really important. And I keep saying it, but it is as important as arithmetic, as important as English lit.
Yes.
As important as science. It makes them smarter, it makes them more competent, it makes them more critical thinkers and learners.
Yes.
And so it's really important to me that kids get music.
I love that. I mean, we all had to take an instrument, and we all had to take music when I was coming up. We had to take music. I was in Glee Club in high school. I was thinking about, one of my lists, we were talking about piney woods in Mississippi. Everybody has to take music. They have to take music, and they have to farm. It's like we don't do enough for those things. So it's super. I think it's so important.
Low key, one of the worst things that ever happened was Napster. Like, I know that people was happy to be able to make unlimited mixtapes at their house, but straight up, we were stealing people's music. Like, we had a whole generation of people that just stole the music. Like, it's no different than walking
now
into
expect to get it for free.
And now we expect to get it for
free.
And so that trickles down to the artist, literally trickles into like pennies on the pennies on the pennies on the dollar. And that is a huge effect. It's interesting that we've come full circle to where Lalah Hathaway is on the being like, buy my album. We made it full circle. Like, forget the streaming, forget the app, just buy the album. That's much better. Come to a show.
By the time you stream a record, to buy that same single, you have to have streamed it over 1,500 times or some such number.
Yes.
And I feel like, the streaming platforms and the labels still have a deal. So they are all still what and what. But it has always been this way, again, specifically for Black artists.
Yes.
Black artists have never been treated fairly in this business. And so it's really important to encourage people. Like, if you're coming to my show, I appreciate that you paid for the ticket and you bought a meal or you had a drink, you tipped your server, you paid for parking. I'm going to ask you for that additional $12 to $15 to buy the album, because that ensures that I'm able to come back for you again. And that's across the board, specifically with younger, newer artists. There's really no way to be 23 and have a dream at this point. Like, I'm going to just make music all my life, because you have to work like 8 other jobs.
Well, we have a minute left. Suzanne in Georgia wants to holler at you. Lalah Hathaway is here, Roderick Morrow. Suzanne, thank you quickly. You're on the Karen Hunter Show. Yes. Hi.
Miss Hathaway.
Hi.
Sister Lalah, I just want to say thank you. I've been rocking with you since your first album. Thank you, thank you, thank you is all I can say. There's not enough words.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I want you to get your flowers. Vanta Black, we're going to tweet it out so y'all can go get it. Yes. Buy the album, Vanta Black.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, right at you. You give me something to believe in.